In the early days, the Weimar Republic was incredibly unpopular, and the main reason behind that was the signing of the Treaty of Versailles. The armistice to end the First World War had been signed on the 11th of November 1918, but it wasn't until 28th of June 1919 that the official treaty was signed. The Treaty of Versailles ending the First World War. Germans were kind of hoping that the American President Woodrow Wilson, who had laid out his 14 points earlier on, that the treaty and the settlement would all be based around that. However, the French, particularly their President Clemenceau, wanted to exact revenge on Germany and ensure that they would never be able to attack France again. The terms of the treaty were incredibly brutal, and we can remember the terms of the treaty by using the acronym TRAWL, T-R-A-W-L. So the first letter within this acronym is T. The T refers to territory that the Germans lost. Germany lost a massive amount of territory throughout their lands, losing land in the west to France and losing land in the east, which was then given up. And it really meant that approximately 13% of the German territory was lost to other countries. Next up is the R, reparations. Reparations was the money to be paid by Germany to the Allies to repay the damage that had been caused by the war. The reparations was fixed at £6.6 billion. Always a really good, useful number to remember to include. The A within our TRAWL acronym is the armed forces. The army was to be limited to no more than 100,000 men. The Navy was allowed to have no big vessels larger than 10,000 tons. They weren't allowed any form of submarines. And a big key point to remember is that the Rhineland, the area west of the River Rhine within Germany, was to be demilitarized. This would become very important later on when Hitler comes into power. The W within the TRAWL acronym is war guilt. This is referred to as Article 231 of the Treaty of Versailles, the war guilt clause. This was stating that Germany accepted complete blame for starting the war. Now, we all hopefully are aware that there were many, many causes why the First World War started, and it wasn't all because of Germany. The last element, the L within our TRAWL acronym, is the League of Nations. The League of Nations was going to be started as an organisation that was hopefully going to prevent any further world wars from ever happening. However, Germany was made into a pariah and basically told they weren't allowed to join the League of Nations. They were no longer allowed, or they weren't allowed to be part of this new organisation that was created. Again, excluding Germany from the kind of the new global sort of movement. So, in general, German people were incredibly humiliated by the Treaty of Versailles. They felt that Versailles was a dictated peace to them. A German term, Diktat, was used. So the German people were looking for someone to blame for why they had to accept this Diktat. The scapegoat they were looking for in the end became Ebert and the Weimar government. Its politicians became known as the November criminals because that was what they referred to. The German people referred to the politicians for betraying them. This betrayal, in the end, most German people were unaware that really the politicians had no choice. They were given an ultimatum by the Allies. Either they had to accept the terms of the Treaty of Versailles, or Germany would be invaded and the German people would have suffered. Even because of this, the German people didn't really know about this, and so the rumour began and the idea that the German politicians had stabbed the army in the back. And this is referred to as the Dolchstoss theory. This really tells us why so many people hated the Treaty of Versailles, and it would lead to many of the problems that would emerge in Germany over the next 20 years.